By the end of this video, you will have learned 80% of everything Notion has to offer. I'll cover everything from creating your first page to aesthetics and even some of my favorite Notion browser extensions. Everything in Notion consists of just 3 elements. If you can master these 3 elements, I can guarantee you that you will know more than 99% of Notion users out there. So I have my Notion homepage opened up here, but let's go ahead and open up a new page. So I'm gonna open up the sidebar. I can do that by just clicking or hovering my mouse over this sidebar option on the left here and clicking on create a new page. So I have a new page created here, and this actually brings us to the first of the 3 elements of Notion, which are pages. So pages consist of 4 elements, the first of which is going to be the title. So as soon as you open a new page, there's going to be a new page here, new page text here, and this is where we're going to write our title. So I really enjoy reading books, so I'm going to call this Hachir's Library. Okay, so that's going to be the first element of a page, which is a title. The second element is going to be an icon. So if I hover my mouse over this title, you can see it says add icon. I'm going to click it and just type in books, and I'm going to choose this icon. The third component is cover. So if I add a cover here, you can see that there's a nice cover opened up on my page. I can change the cover by hovering over it. Notion has a lot of really cool built-in covers that you can add. So I'm just going to type in books and see what comes up. This seems pretty cool. Or actually, I like this a little bit more. So I'm going to have that here. I can reposition it if I want to change the position of the image, and I can save it here. Okay, so I have the first 3 elements or first 3 components of my Notion page complete. And this is going to be actually the icon and the title are actually really important when it comes to navigation and organization. So if I hover over my sidebar here, you can see that I have a list of icons here and I have titles. So right here, you can see that there is a new page that's created. It has the icon that we had placed right here, and it also has a title called Hachir's Library. So when you're trying to quickly look for a page, this actually comes in really handy. So you can quickly see where your pages are, and you can organize them and place pages inside pages for easy organization. And lastly, we have the fourth and final component of a page, which is going to be the actual content. So anything that's going to be below the title right here is going to be the content. Another way you can think about pages is they're basically just glorified Google Docs. So if I were to open up a Google document here, we have the title, so I can write the same thing, Hachir's Library, and we have the content here, okay? And this content can be changed based off of whether we want it as a header, bolded text, numbered list, bullet points, etc. So anything you can do in this content part of a Google Doc, you can do the same exact thing in Notion. So the content aspect of a page actually brings us to our second element of Notion, which are going to be blocks. So the content is actually consistent of a bunch of little blocks. Okay, now what you can do with these blocks, so like real quick, if I were to go back to a Google document, you can see I have this massive toolbar up here in which I can, bold this text, change the size, change the colors. I can do a bunch of stuff with this text. But when we go back to Notion, notice how we don't have that toolbar and the interface is a lot cleaner. What we have instead are these commands. Okay, so if I were to press /, I can see that I can change this block from just regular text to like headings, bulleted list, numbered list, to-do list, call out. I can even change it into another page. I can upload images, videos, audios, files. So we can do so much with these blocks. I'm not going to go through every single one of them here, but I would suggest just go through them, see what stands out to you. I honestly don't use most of these. Maybe I'll embed a video or image, but most of the time I'm just using these text blocks just as I would in a Google document. Okay. Occasionally I'll put some PDFs or columns, whatnot, to organize them. And it also integrates with a bunch of different apps in case you want to integrate it with ClickUp or Make.com, etc. for automations. So I'm going to go ahead and create a bulleted list. And since we're doing Hasher's library, I'm going to quickly type in a couple books. So here I have a list of books, and these are all different categories. So I have some fiction, some nonfiction, some history, some Arabic books. And let's say I want to write a little more about them. So maybe I want to write the author's name, and let's say I'm pretty sure this is Matt Haig. And maybe instead of having a bulleted list, I wanted to change this to a numbered list. So I can just go ahead and highlight and select these blocks, and I can click on the block and I can turn it into a numbered list. Okay, so now you can see it turned into a numbered list. If instead of a numbered list, I wanted to do a to-do list, maybe I had a to read section and I wanted to just mark these off as complete once I've read them, I can quickly do that as well. I'm going to press Control Z to undo really quick. Now, another thing we could do is take this bulleted list or take this one bullet point, and let's say instead of just having a small little bullet point, I wanted to type in a full book report of everything that I read about that book or that stood out to me. I can click on this and actually turn this into its own page. So now I have Midnight Library as a page, and you can see it already input my first bullet point in here. And in here, I can, write my whole outline or summary of the book and type in a bunch of stuff. Okay. Again, this is its own page, so I can also add an icon. So let's look for library. No, this wouldn't really work. Maybe midnight or moon. Yeah, this looks good. So I have a moon, and maybe I wanted to put a cover of some galaxy thing. Okay, so now I have my own page. If I wanted to refer to it, I can just click on Hasher's library, the drop down, and you can see I have Midnight Library here. So if I were to click on either one of these, I can quickly navigate between the other ones. Compared to if I were to try to do this in a Google document, I would have to go back to my home and then, manually search for it, depending on, how I organized it, and it could be a total mess. So if you were just transitioning from Google Docs to Notion, um, that would be more than enough of a trade just because of how easily it is to organize, and it looks way cleaner. So we have our list here, and instead of having a list, let's say I wanted to look at it in a completely different format, um, which is actually going to bring us to the third and final element of Notion. Again, if you can understand these three things, I can guarantee you will understand more than 99% of Notion users out there. And this third element is going to be databases. So instead of having it as a page here in which I am going to just type out these bullet points, I'm going to look at this list in a completely different way, which is going to be databases. So I'm going to just create a new block here, type in /, and for now, we'll just create a line database, but I can also open up this same database in a full page. But let's just create an inline database. And let's call this the organized library. So just we compared a page to a Google Doc, um, though we can look at databases and we can compare it to a Google Sheet. So in a Google Sheet, I have a brand new sheet opened up here. I can have name of the book. I can have author. What else can I have? Genre. Maybe I can have the date I read. And yeah, let's just leave it there for now. So these are some things I can have in a Excel sheet or a Google sheet. Again, I can also name the sheet, so I can call this library. And here I can fill out a bunch of stuff. I have the values here and I filled out a few of them. And if we go back to our database, we can do the same thing. So I have the name, so I can have a name of book. I can also have another text field called author. And this is actually where the databases start to get really cool and separate themselves from Excel. So I can have genre. You can see that Notion is already suggesting it based off of the previous entries in the database. So it looked at just the name of the book and author and noticed that, okay, I'm trying to create a database of books. What other aspects or what other important fields are there when it comes to organizing books that would be valuable in this database? So genre is something that I already had, and this is a drop down, so I can search for an option and create one. So let's just say, what did I have here? I had self-help, also had fiction, nonfiction, and history. Okay, so I've actually just typed out all of my options here. So notice how all of them are available and I can click on any one of them and that will be the category for that genre. So I can fill this out and I can also put the date that I read. Okay, so date, I'm going to have date completed and I can just click on this and click on a date that I completed it and you can see that it's filled out here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of the rows really quick. Now, I went ahead and filled out a few of the columns here, and you can see it looks really nice and clean. But now we are going to look at different ways we can view this database. So right now, I'm just looking at it as a table, just like we would in Google Sheets. But if I click on this plus icon right here, there are different ways I can view this table. So for now, let's click on calendar, and you can see that it's created a calendar view and I have some fields already filled out right here. So I can click on it and can see that it's the Midnight Library um, on this calendar right here. Now you can see it's being kind of cut off, so I'm going to click on my page and click on full width. So it runs along the full width of my page and I can see Midnight Library and I completed it on the 18th of February. Now, if I wanted to go back to the table and let's say this form or this field I didn't fill out and I just click on today, you can see it says February 20th, 2025. So if I go back to my calendar, it's been updated on the calendar. Now, when it comes to um, like this specific library that I'm trying to create for myself, the calendar view might not be that useful. But let's say you had a bunch of to-do lists or task lists and you needed to see exactly when a project is due or maybe when you uploaded a certain document. I can go ahead and see exactly where it is on my calendar. And if I wanted to change maybe the date I wanted to um, complete a project, I can just simply click on it and drag it around and move it on a different date. So now this is February 22nd. So if I go back to my table, you can see it's been updated to February 22nd. So these are just different ways I can view the same exact thing. So let's just say I created another property and I click on status. Okay, so Notion automatically creates three statuses. We have not started, in progress, and done. And let's just fill out a few random ones for this. And if I click on view and board, I can see which books I haven't started, which ones are in progress, and which ones have been finished. And I can drag and move them around. So let's say I finish reading The Midnight Library, I can just move it to done and it'll be automatically updated and done. Now, if we go back to our table, you can see that there's like a little open icon right here. And if I click on it, it opens up a page. Now, every single row in my database right here is actually its own page. So if we were to go back to our Excel sheet right here, and let's say for the name of the wind, I actually wanted to create a whole document in which I type in everything about name of the wind. So if I were to do this with a Google Sheets and Google Docs, I might have to go back to my Google Doc, copy this link, and maybe hyperlink it here, maybe just post the URL for this here so that I can go and edit the page. But in Notion, I don't necessarily have to do that because I have the features of Google Docs and Google Sheets combined in one. So now if I click on this, it creates its own page and I can go ahead and make it full screen and edit it just like I would any other page. I can add an icon, I can add a cover, etc. And now that's going to be its own page. Okay, so that's just a few ways to view a database. I can also do a gallery view, which is a super cool version of viewing. So right now you can see that they're all blank, but let's say I wanted to put an image here. I can place my image inside here. Again, this image is actually just another block. And if I were to go back, you can see I have that image right here in my gallery. So if you wanted to organize your social media posts, your books in this case, and have all nice and clean images here, you can easily do that using the gallery view. So just a quick recap, guys. We have our page. A page consists of 4 elements. We have a title, icon, cover, and the content. Content is made up of blocks, and a block can literally be anything. In this case, we have bullet points, a page, and we also have a block as a database. And I can move these blocks around, organize them however I want. And databases also consist of just pages. So if you understand pages and blocks, you also understand databases and everything they consist of. So if I were to click on a page right here, you can see I have the different fields in my database all right here in my Notion page organized on the top, and I can write my content here on the bottom. Now, really quick, I wanted to cover some of the aesthetic aspects of Notion because, let's be honest, it's a really cool part of Notion. So I've already covered icons and covers, which make a page look way better, especially when we're comparing it to a Google Doc. Let's just cover the theme really quick. So if we were to click on settings, we have appearance. So right now I'm using my system setting, and I can also change it from light to dark. Okay, so if I were to change it to light, you can see that it completely changes the look of Notion. Some people prefer this. I honestly prefer dark mode just because it's easier on my eyes and it does look pretty cool, but you do you. And lastly, we have the text itself. So I can change the color of the text and I can also change the background of the text. Okay, so we have the color, the background, and we have a few aesthetic blocks. So I really like the call out one, which makes a little icon and I can write my content here and it makes it look pretty cool. So that's pretty much it in my opinion when it comes to aesthetics. You can obviously add a bunch of images. I can also organize blocks side by side. So if I were to hover my block over to the right or to the left of any block, you can see that there's a blue highlighted portion. And if I were to let go of my mouse, you can see that it moves side by side. So if I wanted to organize these side by side, I can do so as well. I think you can do up to like 4 columns side by side, or maybe 5. Or I guess maybe there isn't a limit to it. But yeah, you can organize them side by side if you'd like. And the last thing when it comes to aesthetics is a divider. So I can press / and type in divider, and it kind of just sections that part off. Or another way I can create a divider is using a few shortcuts. So I'm going to put 3 dashes and it creates a divider right there. So some of the shortcuts are really useful to learn. I honestly don't use all of them, just like bullet points, headings, and like numbered lists. Those are the main ones I would use. Now, let's say I put all this effort into creating my page and I wanted to share it. I'm just going to click this share button up here and type in uh, whoever's email I want to share it with. Alternatively, I can also publish this on the web. Notion lets you do this for free. You can publish it and just send over the link. So here I have the link here. I can copy the site link and just send it over or publish it wherever I want to publish it. I'm going to unpublish this for now. And yeah, you can just type in the email of whoever you want to share it with. And just like a Google Doc, you can go ahead and share it with them, edit their access. So they can edit, they can comment, or just view. Okay. Now, lastly, we get to some really cool browser extensions that the Notion community has created, and I wanted to run through just 2 of them that I use pretty much on a daily basis, and I find it very useful. So in your Chrome Web Store, just type in Snippo or Snippo. This lets you take notes when you're watching YouTube videos. So if you go back to YouTube and let's say you're watching an awesome channel, Awesome Sauce, and you want to take notes. Okay, so if I click on this button right here, I can go ahead and it's going to open up my Notion. It's going to have the URL for YouTube, and it's also going to have all the timestamps in here. Okay, and I know you guys can't really see, but it actually opened up the page in my second monitor. But if you only have one monitor, it'll kind of just open it up side by side like this, and you can watch the video and take notes right here, and this will automatically be saved in whatever database you want it saved to. So let's say you had a database with YouTube videos with or courses or whatever you're watching or whatever you're currently taking notes on, and you want it automatically added to your Notion database. You can just click on this extension, this button right here, and it'll go ahead and automatically add it. I have some properties right here. So let's say you want to write about the person that's teaching the course, where they're teaching it, maybe the date you first started taking the course, and maybe some uh, tags here. So I have some, I don't know, maybe some business or ideas. I can put some tags and organize it that way. A second extension I use almost on a daily basis is called Save to Notion. Okay, so it should be on your web store. So let's say I am reading something and I really like where it's going and I want to save it in one of my databases for later. I can just hover over the Save to Notion icon and go ahead and save it. Notice it's going to have the name of the article already there. It'll have a content image based off of, something in the article. And I can go ahead and select what I want inside of the content aspect of the page. Or, inside of the content aspect of the page. So in this case, let's say you wanted the whole web page, you can pick that, or I can just select certain aspects. So maybe I just wanted like this creative thinking. So for the content, I can pick whether I want the whole web page or maybe I just want a select part that I want on the web page. I can click that as well, and I can also put tags and I can save the page. So if I were to go back to my Notion here, you can see that it's been created here. So I have the URL, I have the tags, I have the title of the article, and I have the part that I selected. I could have also put the whole article in here if I wanted to. So just a quick recap, guys. We have 3 elements of Notion. We have pages, blocks, and databases. Each page consists of the title, icon, cover, and the content. The content is basically just a bunch of blocks, and a block could be literally anything, including another page or a database. And a database is just a collection of pages in which you can view it in different ways. And then we have some of the aesthetics, the organization, sharing, and we have some useful Notion extensions as well. So we could really get the most out of Notion. I hope you guys enjoyed that video and you got a lot out of it. I would highly suggest you guys go around and play with Notion, try all the different blocks out, see what stands out to you. Check out the Chrome store to see what other Notion users have created in terms of the extensions and how to get the most out of Notion. And besides that, let me know what you guys thought of the video and what you guys want to see next. Thanks.